morning to you all. You're welcome to this Thursday's edition of the program of Thursday, the 8th of August 2024. The program, of course, is Press Brief. We'll be back to unravel the package for today's program. Once more, you're heartily welcome back to the Victor Cham for this morning's report on the Norway's take. It says Norway vows to cooperate in prosecution of Ayabacho, who has been notorious towards the killing of persons in the Anglophone regions. Decentralization, traditional rulers clamor for reforms to give them more role. You can find more on the decentralization mode and what traditional rulers are ascribing. Fruits of hard work, Dr. Chi Asafo spotlighted again for excellence. You can find details on that story on the page of Municipal Update for today. And for my 10 for this morning report of private primary teachers to Dingwa that will be seeing the light of day in order to assist this group of teachers in Cameroon. Moving on to the next publication and for a show report of UNESCO and this extradited from Gabon to Cameroon. You can find what the person who has been vocal towards Paul Biya and his regime in place. The story on that paper for today. Universal health coverage. The paper reports on the northwest and southwest region that are now covered following the first phase of launch by the universal health coverage by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manona Malashi. We now take you to the next publication for this morning. We move forward with the paper for today. That is Le Témoin. Le Témoin have as lead story universal health coverage in the country. The paper report of Dr. Manona Malashi, who unravels the package of the first phase of universal health coverage in the southwest and northwest regions. This took place yesterday in the town of Poya, as captured by Le Témoin newspaper for today. From Le Témoin newspaper, we move on to the Horizon. The Horizon for this morning report of 2024 academic year, GBHS Santa, the major storm that the elite must calm. This follows the Anglophone separatists take on no school in Santa and most parts in the two English speaking regions of the country. As Kamto Cabral Libre disqualification looms large, is Northerner candidate opposition magic won for to the 2025 presidential elections? That is a question you can find on that paper on page 8. Elekam or Engmon Avenue and the Fredericks Albert Foundation signs MOU to reinforce electoral process in the country. We move on to Barrister Amungwatani files a complaint against notorious rape suspect. You want to find more on that story on page 8 on the Horizon for today. From the Horizon, we move on to the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post for today talks of CRC with journalists knighted for excellence during the Anglophone English language newspaper publishers known for short as SEMPAS Awards. We move on to editorial of the Guardian Post, when Biya sleeps with one eye open. You want to find details on that story of the Guardian Post on that set publication for today. From the Guardian Post, we take you to Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune of Marie-Claire Nana for this morning have as lead story the paper report of the cooperation ties with Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. It says both countries speaks. Get to it more on that said paper for today. Universal health coverage, the paper report of the scheme launch for southwest and northwest regions by the Minister of Public Health, Manona Malashi. Moving on to situation in Kameko. It says dialogues open. Get to read more on the dialogue that opened with different groups of Kameko and state operatives on the set strike action that. We move on to Nigeria with leadership for this Thursday morning. Leadership newspaper reports of leadership initiative to lift 2 million out of poverty imperative. Governor Sule who talks on that situation. And West African Defense Chief insists on civilian rule, while bureaucracy behind delay in a 50% salary slash, according to reps who talk on that paper for today. The national print from Nigerian Tribune for this morning says Minister NPCL Dangote orders take fight before Senate panel. In that story, Army begins investigation detained soldiers over killing of 16-year-old boy in Zaria. And I didn't offer 1.7 million US dollars to Speaker to secure chairman of downstream committee, according to Ogu Chinyere, who speak on the national print of Nigerian Tribune for today. Federal government spends 60 million US dollars monthly to import fuel, according to the finance minister of Nigeria. Vanguard for this morning, another Nigerian tabloids report on stir of internal affairs. Federal government wants foreign pass. In that said publication still, reps committee chair denies giving 1.7 million US dollar bribe to Speaker Abbas. We take you to this other sports story. It talks of the Tigers to soar in the 8th FIBA ranking. Get to read that story on Vanguard for today. The Punch for this morning says hunger prime as DSS drilled 7 foreigners. And in that said publication, the paper reports of crude crisis, National Assembly to prop into NPCL and Dangote refinery saga. Central Bank of Nigeria CBN dumps 12 months of Rex policy with 876 million US dollar auction. 4Q may linger till next week, according to marketers who talk on that paper for today. Punch Sport Extra, the sports paper, talks of Nigeria 74, USA 88. It says Gallant the Tigers. Get to read more on that. Set Olympic female basketball for basketball tournament that took place yesterday in the Paris Olympic in France. We move on further with Victor Osimhen won't take play cut for Chelsea move and Olmo complete on that sports paper for today. We move on to Nigerian News Direct for this morning. In terms of CBN auctions, 876.26 million naira, million US dollars, of course, at 1,495 slash $1 to 26 banks to reduce pressure. Appeal to Nigerians, make assurance that policy will work. And this other story from Kyari that says who did not staff local refineries of crude oil supply. You want to find details on that paper for today. Moving forward with our international tabloid, we start off with the first international newspaper for today, The Guardian. The Guardian reports of thousands take to the streets to counter threat from far right regarding anti-immigration in the United Kingdom. In that said paper, Hudson Smith misses out on goal, trailing 400 meters finals. Horror story, the paper report of the secret confession of bridesmaids. You want to find more on that paper for today. The Daily Telegraph for today talks of Britain shuts up shops over riot threats all across the United Kingdom. The health sector in the UK, NHL talks of service will help trans patients in order to return to gender in which they were born. Daily Express for this morning, United Britain stands firm against Turks. You can find more on that paper for today. The paper talks of Great Britain's Hudson Smith pipe at the post. You want to find more on the Paris Olympic Games that is taking place in the UK, and yesterday's competition saw United Kingdom on the spotlight once again. Russian targeting UK far right channels, he says. Putin pouts Stockton's riots in that said paper. Star Wars DC reveals a hot battle. We wrap up the program with we'll wrap up the first part of the program with the last paper. ISIS far right rioters face football ban as ministers were a bit to come on unrest in the UK. And Paris Olympic pull out insights. You can find more on that paper for today. This other exclusive paper story that talks of military defense orders urgent cuts. Get to read details on the various international tabloids for today. We'll be back for the second phase of the program with our reviewer here with us. Once again, you're heartily welcome back to the program. If you are joining us, you're on to the first phase of the program Press Brief. And our reviewer for this morning is Chair Busi. Good morning to you, Chair, and you're heartily welcome.
Good morning to you, Larry, and good morning to all listeners of My Television. It's a pleasure, as always, to be on set to talk about the press, what's making news, and how to together build the nation.
Definitely. So you saw the first phase of the program for the paper review. Which one do you think we should start with?
Let's start with the municipal updates.
Okay, municipal updates, of course. The security begins at home. That's the paper he writes for. And we start off with municipal updates. Municipal updates report of atrocities in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. It says Norway vows to cooperate in prosecution of Ayaba Cho. And just to reiterate, Ayaba Cho has been notorious towards the killing of many people in the northwest and southwest region, respectively. What do you make of that, Captain?
As a Christian, I don't know if to say it's good or bad news when it concerns punishing someone. Whatever the case might be, I think the cry of many has always been for corporates or both ways. Now to hear prosecution, which is being pushed for against this leading member of the separatist movement, not basically because he is part of the separatist movement, I guess, but because of maybe the various crimes which a long way we've been in pain, we've been afflicted. What's more important to us at this particular point in time is peace. What is the way to peace? Peace scholar says peace is the way. Whatever the case, we hope that whatever is being done, however, wherever, peace somehow is brought back and stability is seen in our various localities.
All right. We see. Let's focus on this guy, the Ayaba Cho guy. This is someone who has been quite. His rhetoric has been really damning and scary, as he always advocates for the killing of people, especially especially those in the educational sector in the country, and a lot of others, and those of the defense and security operatives. Yeah. What do you make of that?
Larry, I hold that life is sacred. I hold that life should not be destroyed carelessly at the fall, which has a disregard for human life, because human life, like I said, is sacred. We cannot be trying to build people by destroying people. So I think it's more like an ideological fight that we must not forget. People have various schools of thought when it concerns conflict resolution, when it concerns achieving their goals, maybe politically, socially, economically. The problem might be, or whatever it is we want to achieve, we can't kill people to better people. So I would just, I basically would not want to talk a lot about Ayabacho because I understand he's firm in his ideology and it's been reoccurring. But I think the level ground which all of us can stand on is the fact that if a life has to go for liberation or whatever to come, then you should give your own life. At least not the life of.
And the most contradictory part of this Seth Ayabacho guy, he is someone who has been advocating for school boycotts, but his children are there schooling in Norway until he has the audacity to be fronting the social media space with the graduation of him attending a school event of the children. So you can imagine how stupid some Cameroonians and wicked they can be.
And I think these are issues which are eye openers. These are issues which are eye openers. The blind should have by now seen there is a lot of hypocrisy. There and others for separation. This is all how they think the problem can be solved. But I think above all things, if there is this aspect of hypocrisy which is underlying these actions, then we have a very long way to go. We can't be refusing people's children from having the basic it's a fundamental human right to be educated. We've seen instances where children in primary school they've been brutally murdered in this ongoing conflict simply because they went out of the fears. Their parents decided to go above fears to send them to school. We've seen this thought against for school boycott, and they're having their families in safety out of the country. They're having their children going to school. How do they feel? And now it is about time, I guess, for the population to be able to read the handwriting on the wall clearly. Are these people really out for our interests? It's a rhetorical question, and I'm not going to answer that. Yeah. Are these people, their activities, their motives, is it genuine? The answer definitely lies in the wind.
Definitely. We move on to, we'll know that paper of municipal update for this morning, and the municipal update for this morning. Let's focus on this other story too. We are talking on the Secretary General or at the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. That's Dr. Chi Asafo, who was recently knighted for hard work.
I don't know if your smile is taking us back to, I think, 2 or so editions we had here when you were questioning the report of the the Commission for Bilingualism, Multiculturalism, where you said there's been some recurrent issues, but the Commission says everything is under control. We are getting better in terms of xenophobic comments, hate speech, and all of that. Well, we are in a very precarious situation, be it politically and otherwise. These days, there's a lot of awards. It's eminent everywhere, and definitely those who give out these awards may have put together some various considerations that I cannot question. So all I'll say is congratulations to this SG of that special commission, because it's a commission that comes along with the Anglophone crisis. It came to bring a little pinch of better for the people of the Northwest and Southwest, just like every other place. I think the real evaluation which we can give and the real credit will be on the field and by the masses, for them to see how much the Bilingualism Commission has done. Will they be able to evaluate it? Be it from even listening to the state media, the people at the grassroots level will be able to evaluate if bilingualism is a reality, if the commission is doing what it has to do, dealing with government officials at their various offices, doing public events, and you name it. Is bilingualism really at the center? Is bilingualism really taken into considerations? Do we have government officials who are able to express themselves in both languages fluently? Don't we think it's about time for us to make that as one of the criteria for someone to become a member of government?
Okay. Speaking
in both languages. All of these are considerations which the Commission, I think, should push towards to ensure that we achieve more bilingualism. The man maybe in Kwakwa and everywhere is able to feel that years have come, and there's been some years after the commission was created. These are the changes. I can feel it.
Okay.
That's all I say.
All right. So away from municipal updates, we will take you to pilots announced. Cameco pilot imminent strike action that will be taking place. That is what you can find on that set paper on page 6 of Flow Show. What do you make of? We focus on the national aviation carrier Cameco. Workers says they have been working without salary for months, for years, and the pilots too. They say we have been flying the planes from one part of the country to another, from one part of I don't know, one location to another. So no salary. What's happening?
There's a lot happening in Lawi. From one problem to another, from one corporation we have issues, the next corporation is in real issues. Now it's a little bit far off anyway. Let me start from that point of view, because we don't have airport in the southwest region. So whether the pilot, it directly doesn't really strike a difference, because we don't interact in terms of air transport across the country. We've not had that opportunity. Well, they say the Tico International Airport is on that way, and we keep on expecting that soon as it is realized, so that we too can fly maybe from here to Marwa or Garwa or some of those places which have airports to feel what it looks like. Away from that, I think all of this will boil down to a management issue, and I hope sooner or later we don't have another conflict about planes, because I remember a couple of years ago there were no workers striking, but the issue about planes, people who've used Cameco have had have come back with I'll not say negative testimonies, but it's not impressive. It's not up to it. It looks like we're still doing air transport maybe 30 years ago in 2024.
Let me cut it short. So there's this experience of a friend who boarded a Cameco flight, and when he came, I was telling him, that's in that danger. So it's a funny experience. So that's in a danger. So only when the plane was about taking off, it started feeling as if it was the 1999 eruption of Mount Cameroon.
You can imagine.
That was happening. So this is just one of the several testimonies of
we've had,
persons who have used
which
that
is nothing to write home about. I remember a picture circulating on social media where we saw this plank.
Then they said it was Photoshop.
I know, it's like goodness.
Then they claim it was Photoshop.
We have a very long way to go, you know.
And don't forget, we have seen videos where it's raining and the Cameco doesn't have a shade, because in other aviation companies, when a flight lands and you have when an aircraft lands, you have a shield where passengers, they have a shield that they walk under. So it was rainy, and those persons were under the rain and holding their baggages, their luggages and baggages under the rain. And it's like, where are we? Are we in the 21st century, or are we in Africa? Because when you take, for instance, Senegal, you take Mali, where some people are castigating of the coup and others. Their airports, when internal flights are coming, you don't come with your luggage. Your luggage, you go.
Takes a separate.
You can just have your handbag or your backpack, and your luggages will be arriving via a lift. So, and you can just pick that. This is mine. So, but we saw the scenario.
We have a very long way. We have a very long way to go, and even the airports themselves,
that's another story.
It's a whole lot, and the issue is, what is the problem, Larry? What is the problem? And someone will pinpoint to say these are. I guess it should be some sort of a parastatal or so, but the government, maybe that's just an assumption, which it may be right or wrong, just for emphasis' sake. Could be as well the fact that we put people who may not have any experience in aviation management to cater for our airlines. if we go to look at the top management, are we sure we have people who have a background knowledge in that field, or we just have people based on political motivation? They're picked from left, center, right, or we trust people based on maybe their origin. This corporation is handled by a man from this area, so this other corporation should be taken by this other man, without basing all of this on competence. At the end of the day, we end up remaining at the same spot. Years come and go, and we have nothing to show for it. I think these are just issues which should prick every Cameroonian, and it should be a thought provoker for us all. Where are we? What do we desire for our country? We at a period where airplane transport it's not like many years ago where it was something too celebrated, in the sense that it wasn't common. We've come a long way globally in terms of evolution in technology and all of that. So we expect to see an improvement. And even in terms of wages, you don't expect someone who hasn't been paid. Oh goodness, you'd be risking your life, Larry, to be on board a plane with someone who is angered by their pay package. We used to think that pilots were maybe one of the most paid professions, but it looks like in Cameroon every profession is as miser as the other. Maybe the people who earn the biggest are government officials who play with paper and state funds.
So you can imagine, some say if you want to get stinkingly rich overnight, join politics, and in Cameroon you can join the ruling.
I did not say that.
No, of course, that's what.
Okay, I'm
hearing
school
of thought. According to a school of thought, we move away from Lojou newspaper, away from that saga of Kamiko, Eminem strike action that will be seeing the light of day if care is not taken. We will take you to Boya. Wait, the post of late Francis Wache for this morning talks of the Glencore corruption scandal. The culprits are within Cameroon, according to Barrister Akere Muna.
You know, Akere Muna, and first of all, it's good to see the Post this morning. The Post is one of Anglophone newspapers which is resilient. It's been able to weather the storms, and it's still strong and active. It's bravo to all those who make it happen, make it work. Now, this whole issue about this corruption scandal which Akere Muna has been behind, the Glencore scandal, it's reoccurrent. Remember, we discussed about this, I think, the day before yesterday. Also, and another Post comes again on it and takes an insightful angle, because it tells us about where these people are. They are amongst us. They are on Cameroonian soil. In fact, they are our elites.
Elite in quotes on the way.
They are our elites, Larry. They are the people whom we celebrate in our communities.
Because in Cameroon, it's like when you are appointed as a minister, or you have a high state, or a high stake in the civilian government, you automatically become an elite. So that's the kind of funny definition I get.
That's what the community has made it look like. That's why you see, once you suddenly have money, you gain a title, maybe from your kingsmen or everything. So everything today has become so much laid on finance, how financially viable you are. Now back to this. I'll look at it today from a different perspective. I listened to one politician speak, and there was an issue when people came around him to solicit for funds. He said, this is what makes him, or maybe others, go and embezzle. I give you an example.
Okay.
In the village meeting, maybe the people of so and so living in Boya, and they want to build their hall. The expectations on these people, that doesn't mean they should steal government money. But I want to
give what you have within your reach. Nobody says you should.
Stingy. So, so for that post, that man, let me see for I'm not seeing. So it's of course no excuse for corruption, but I'm just looking at the whole issue today from a different point of view. We have Cameroonians. We've become so fond of this financial assistance that everything today has been tied. I was listening to someone. He was talking even about awards, that he stopped receiving awards because we give you this award, but we have our project. So it's actually not a reward for what I've done. It is like another way to beg for funds based on what you're doing. Maybe we should be skeptical about it, because what is their salary like for them to give this kind of contributions? When sometimes even these local authorities, maybe mayors and the rest of what to take care of, where is the person getting the money for announcing state assets before taking on these positions? I think that is one place where we would keep on talking about all of these issues, going left, coming right, and there would be no concrete solution, because we've not been able to make people accountable at the very start. He's been appointed maybe the board chair of Sonora. What is financial accounts by the time of the appointment, so that when he's leaving 5-10 years after, we know that so and so million has been added. He now is worth so and so million. Yeah. What other sources of income does he or she? All of that, because nobody is accountable, and these are real issues which I think, if the government is really serious about fighting corruption, this should be where we should look carefully at. Once a minister is appointed, the first thing you do is to declare your assets. We know what you have, we know what you don't have, we know what you work, we know what you don't work. At the end of your appointment, we're able to know what has added to you, and you say it's you cannot even say it's your privacy, because you are there to serve with public funds. So you cease to have a private life. You're now kind of public property. I put that in quotes. So I think these are all issues which trigger all of this corruption. And if the government is really intentional about the fight against corruption, and what maybe the commission too, that's CONAC, should be able to advocate to enact it into law for people to declare their property before taking government offices. Else would keep be held to account. It will just make front pages on the newspapers. A day will go, two will come, and it will be over.
Dies off. Okay, and the last paper of the post, the paper reports of Fika Food Pathways with national team kits supplier One All Sports. The situation of One All Sports. We had that of Coq Sportif Francais, whereby Samuel Etofis had to terminate the contract and went in for One All Sports, and now we are having a similar scenario.
It's like I think there is a problem. Okay. There is a problem. It's high time kumbaya kind of rhetoric which we see in Fika Food. I'm not too much into this wrong. Just a while ago or some months ago, we had the issue of One All Sports or the Coq Sportif rather, and the settlement, if Samuel Eto'o or the federation, I should not go personal, was able to settle the contract and all of that, we still to get cleared on that, if actually that company has been cleared, if everything is okay, if the federation is not in court, it's not in a court case, it will not pay a huge sum of money to Coq Sportif and all of that. And now this One All Sports, we simply hope this won't raise more dust, Larry, because we're already in a complex situation. A lot is happening in terms of sports. We had the athletes who came back from the Olympic Games. We had over a lot of good, and we must commend government